2 years ago, we packed up our lives and moved into an RV for 6 months. From glacial lakes in British Columbia to desert highways in the United States, it was everything we'd hoped for, plus a few curveballs. We started in the rainiest month of the year, burned way more fuel than we planned, and had our awning torn off in a windstorm in Wyoming. Still, we'd do it all again in a heartbeat. And in today's video, we'll share the 11 things we'd change, simple switches that would have saved us thousands, a ton of stress, and a lot more sleep. If you're planning RV life in 2025, this video is definitely for you. And if you find this video helpful, tap the like button so that more future RVers can see it, and drop your number one wish I knew in the comments so we can all learn from each other. Okay, starting with number 11, we would definitely start later in the year or start further down south in the United States. So we actually started our RV trip in March here in BC, Canada, and we underestimated just how cold and wet March can be. When you're just starting out and figuring out all the ins and outs of RV life, it really doesn't help when it's raining and cold the whole time. It actually put a real damper on the first few weeks of our trip. It meant that we had to figure out the sewage system and the awning and figure out how to actually camp and do boondocking and all that sort of stuff in really bad weather, and it made us not actually want to leave the RV. We just sat inside the RV half the time. As we got a bit more used to everything, it got a lot easier, but definitely if we did it again, we would be starting later on in the year when it's summer, probably around like June or even July, or we'd start down south in the southern part of the United States and then slowly begin to move our way either north or down into Mexico. We also found that a lot of the campgrounds were still closed because it was so early in the RV season, which made finding a place to camp every day much harder. Number 10, we would actually sort out our US travel visas a lot earlier because I was only actually able to stay in the United States for 90 days because I was on a tourist visa, or a visa exemption, I think it's called, whereas Mandy was able to stay 6 months because she's got a Canadian passport. 90 days felt like a long time when we started the trip, but because we were moving quite slow, 90 days went really fast and we weren't actually able to go as far as what we wanted to go. So next time I would get a 6-month tourist visa to the United States, and I would sort that out before we started our RV trip. We were able to travel through Montana, down to Wyoming, into Utah, Nevada, across over to California, and then back up through Oregon and Washington. So we still saw a big chunk of the United States, especially the West Coast, but we wanted to do so much more. And when we got about 60 days into the trip, we actually had to start planning our journey back up north, which kind of put a damper on it. Number 9, we would rethink our rig. We went with a 33-foot mobile home, which was great. There was some really good things about it, but if I did it again, I would either get a towable trailer, maybe a truck camper, or something discreet like a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or something like that. And that's because one issue we found with our RV was whenever we parked at a campsite, we didn't really want to leave because it was such an effort to drive the RV to the shops or anything. So we would go and get supplies before we went to the campground. But then after a couple of days, like maybe we ran out of drinks or something like that, and we found ourselves not really wanting to leave because when you drive around in the RV, everything shakes around and it's such a mission. You have to like pack everything up. Even if you're only driving like 5 minutes down the road, you can't have stuff just flying around in the cupboards or in the kitchen and everything like that. So I would get a towable trailer for that reason, because you can set it up and then you have your car that is separate, which you can go and do run errands or do sightseeing and everything like that. Also, for discreetness, the RV wasn't good. So we parked in like Walmart car parks, even on the side of the road in Oregon, down the beach. Like we tried to do boondocking and discreet camping, but when you're in an RV, it's not that discreet. So a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter would be perfect for that. Number 8, we would get something that is way more economical on fuel. So the rig that we had was a V8 and it was an absolute guzzler. And with the price of fuel these days, you really can't afford to be paying that much in fuel. And it made us really rethink where we were going. Like we had to map everything out very strategically, because if we just took a little detour, that could cost us hundreds of dollars. And it really stopped us from doing a lot of sightseeing that we feel like we would have done. So that's another reason maybe we would rethink and get something smaller. Maybe we would get a truck camper, or like I said earlier, a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or something like that. Number 7, we would try and organize off-grid power from day one. About 3 or 4 weeks into our trip, we realized that we couldn't do a lot of things off-grid that we wanted to. And so we ordered a generator. This generator was a game changer. As soon as we got it, we didn't have to go and stay at any powered campsites. We could stay off grid for like 6 or 7 days as long as our water tanks were full and we had enough drinking water. But this time, if we did it again, I would make sure that we had a really good generator with a solar system, which is what we had from day one. And I wouldn't try and go without it for the first few weeks, because it's just one of those things where if you've never done it before, you never know. And number 6, we would book ahead of time for some of the really big national parks and state parks. So one thing we didn't realize is how quickly these places book up. So places like Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, which are some of the most beautiful national parks in the world. Like, I absolutely want to go back there, but we were only able to drive through Yellowstone as a day trip. We couldn't actually stay there because they get booked out 6 months in advance. So if we were going to do RV life again, I would plan everything out and make sure we booked all of these bigger national parks and state parks well in advance so that we didn't miss out on staying in some of the most beautiful places in America. Quick pit stop to thank today's sponsor, Olafly. One thing we learned from 6 months of RV life, rolling into a new town with no signal is a vibe killer. No maps, no campground emails, and no ferry updates. Olafly is the eSIM we use to stay connected without hunting for SIM cards or paying crazy roaming fees. It takes about 2 minutes. Simply pick the North America plan, check out, scan the QR code, and boom, data on your phone. It works across Canada, the US, and Mexico under one plan, so border hops are painless. And pro tip, install before you leave. Then in settings, set Olafly as your mobile data/cellular data line and toggle data roaming on. Keep your regular number active for calls and texts if you like. Plans include generous data or unlimited options, and some support hotspot. Just check the plan details for your phone. So if you've got a trip coming up, a road loop, national parks, or just weekend camping, grab Olafly via our link below and use code LLOYDAMANDY for 5% off at checkout. Thanks to Olafly for keeping us online out on the road. Number 5, we would fix our dog's sleep setup. So our dog Bear came along with us. He's a 7-year-old Labrador. He's an amazing dog. He's actually traveled all over the world with us. He's come from Australia to North America, Mexico, Canada, Thailand, and then back here to Canada. So he's a well-traveled dog. He's very well behaved, but when he was sleeping in the RV with us, it was really annoying because there was just a little place for him in the living room for him to sleep. And every time he got up in the night, even if it was just to move around, it would shake the whole RV. And he would often jump on our bed and we had to kick him off. And I'm quite a big guy, so I barely fit on the bed as it was. And I woke up most mornings with Bear sitting on my legs. So I would get a separate sleeping compartment for Bear, whether it be like a tent or some kind of portable dog kennel or something like that. We saw a lot of people that had like these dog playpens that were set up outside their RVs, and they had their dogs sleeping out there. That seems like a way better idea than having a dog sleep inside with you, because now that we've had a baby and we've realized what it's like sleeping with a baby, honestly, it was kind of similar sleeping with Bear for those 6 months because I wasn't getting a good sleep most nights. Number 4, we would probably get a Starlink setup from day one. So we had our Olafly eSIMs, which worked really well. We also had a portable modem called Maple Wi-Fi that worked pretty good, but it only worked in places where you could get like normal phone signal. So there were some places where we went off grid that were absolutely beautiful and amazing, but because we work online and we needed to keep working while we're on the road, we found ourselves not being able to stay in some of the nicer places because we didn't have Wi-Fi. So for that reason, I think this time we would get Starlink and we would take that everywhere we go. And we met a lot of people that were traveling also in RVs and they had Starlink set up, and the internet is absolutely incredible pretty much anywhere you go. And it's reasonably affordable as well. I think it's like $150 a month or something like that, unlimited. So number 2 is something that we learned about halfway through our trip, which is the 3x3x3 rule. And that is, you drive a maximum of 300 kilometers, you arrive by 3 p.m. and you stay 3 nights. So We spent a lot of days just driving all day because we underestimated how long it would take us to get to these destinations. Oftentimes when you put in Google Maps and it says like it's 5 or 6 hours to get from one place to another, and then you book ahead, and halfway through the drive you realize because you're in an RV and it's very slow going uphill, it's going to take you more like 7 or 8 hours or even longer. So sometimes it takes double to get as far as it should in a regular car when you're driving in an RV. Plus, when you factor in things like toilet breaks and lunch breaks and stuff like that, like we had too many days where we got to our campsite very late and then we'd only booked it for a night or two and we had to leave the next day, which kind of just ruined the whole experience. So drive 300 kilometers, arrive by 3 p.m. so that you're there nice and early, and stay 3 nights so you can really soak everything in and enjoy it. Number 2, we would plan ahead. We missed a lot of great spots because we really just didn't know where we were going. Our whole thing was we love adventure, we love winging it, and we jumped in the RV without any kind of plan or structure. We just figured we would hit the road and figure it out as we go. But that meant a lot of our time was spent trying to find out where the best places were to go instead of actually enjoying them. And then I feel like we missed out on a lot of spots. Like after we were done with our trip, we looked back and realized there were all these national parks and amazing things that we could have seen that we didn't because we didn't plan ahead, or we'd realized when we'd already passed them that it was too late to go back. So I would plan everything ahead. If I was going to do a 90-day RV trip, for instance, I would make sure that everything is planned out. We would book all the campsites, we would plan every single stop and where we're going to go, and I wouldn't wing anything at all. Number 1, this was a very hard lesson we had to learn, and that was do not ever drink the tap water from your RV. We thought that having an RV with tap water meant that you could just drink the water straight out of the tap. After living in Mexico for 8 months before that, we thought, yeah, no problem, we're gonna be fine. This is Canadian and US tap water. Not the case. So an old RV like ours, which was about 20 years old, you have no idea what's going through those lines and the tanks. And we found out the hard way after about 2 or 3 days of drinking the tap water. We both got extremely sick in our stomachs, and that ruined the first probably 2 weeks of our trip. It actually wasn't until Mandy said something that I realized that it might have been the tap water. We just thought we got some kind of a stomach bug or something. And then we put 2 and 2 together. So from that day onwards, we made sure that we bought filtered water and only drank filtered water. We only cooked with filtered water, and the tap that came out of the sink was literally just to wash dishes or to clean up, and that was pretty much it. We could shower with it, we could use the toilet and everything like that, but do not drink the tap water under any circumstances. All right guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you're thinking about doing RV life, leave a comment down below and let us know where you're going, what type of rig you have set up, and don't forget to watch our full playlist we made from our 5 months of RV travel life here in the United States and Canada. And again, if you enjoyed this content, hit the like button and subscribe. Cheers.